Hi students, this is Brian and I'm here to give a little video about modal verbs. Now, what are modal verbs? Modal verbs are that little category of verbs that help another verb to have a certain meaning. Like when you say, I can do something, it means I'm able to, or I could do something, or I should do something, or I must, I'm obliged to do it, or I'm supposed to do it, I don't have to, and so on. There's a whole category of these verbs that help to give a certain meaning to your listener or the person who's reading something, and they all can be pretty specific, and they can make a lot of difference about whether or not you use can or could, or must, or don't have to, okay? So the main thing here is we got to start thinking about using these correctly, because whether or not you use them correctly or not will mean whether or not you're going to be understood by somebody. So let me just give a practical example. If I'm a teacher and I want you to do something and I'm giving you some homework, I might say, you guys must do the homework tomorrow by 8 a.m. That means that 100% you all have to do it. If you don't do it, you'll be punished. But on the other hand, I might say, you guys all could do the homework by tomorrow. It's just a suggestion. It means that you can do it if you want to. If you don't do it, I won't punish you. I may be slightly disappointed, but I'm not going to be very angry about whether or not you did it or not, because it's just a suggestion. So the main thing here is that modals are often tied up a lot with our feelings. How you're going to feel if something is done or not done, or if you feel that you have to do it. Okay? So let me give another example. I might say to you, I blank have to work in Ramadan. Now I might put in a certain verb there and say, I must work in Ramadan. How do I feel? I don't feel very good about it. Somebody is making me work in Ramadan. I don't want to. I might say, I should work in Ramadan. What does that feel? It means I have a feeling like I ought to, or somebody's giving me some advice, or I feel like a moral obligation to work in Ramadan. I might say, I can work in Ramadan. Say, no problem. Even though I'm fasting, I'm going to work. It's not a big problem. Somebody might say, you know, you don't have to work in Ramadan. I say, great. I can take a vacation if I want. Somebody might say, you're supposed to work in Ramadan. It means there's a certain expectation that even though you're fasting, you know, you're expected to keep up your work cycle. So there's a lot of different feelings about what you're trying to say, and it makes a difference whether or not you use a certain verb, okay? So that's the main thing with modal verbs. It has a feeling, and each one conveys something that you are really trying to get across to your audience. And if you're misunderstood, if you use the wrong verb, if you say must when you really mean could, or could when you really mean must, the other person might be confused. If I have the teacher say could, but I really mean must, all the students might come to class without their homework, and then I'm going to be angry. But the problem was that I miscommunicated how I really feel, okay? So just to keep in mind that this is important, and there are some things that you should really focus on. I noticed for myself that many Moroccan students struggle between don't have to and shouldn't. I say don't have to, I mean I'm giving you permission. You don't have to do your homework. It's permission. Or I might say you shouldn't do your homework means that I'm not advising you to do it, okay? So please keep it in mind that there are distinct differences between these verbs. And in these chapters in our book, we're going to be trying to look carefully about which one you want so that you can choose the right one and not be misunderstood by anybody. Okay? That's it. I have a challenge for you. I'd just like you to come up to me before class and give me some ideas about how people can integrate at AUI better. What should they do? What could they do? What must they do? What shouldn't they do? And so on. Some ideas about how students can feel most comfortable here at AUI. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know.